sears your heart. I've been tangled in the brambles where the demons come to play. And I known angels who couldn't handle another day. I seen a man in freezing rainfall change from a fountain. I still hate myself for not saving him from drowning. I've been places on this planet that would break your heart, where you can stand and the scene will just take you apart. The type of true beauty that gives birth.
This is 10-month-old Finley Boden before he was beaten to death by two people who was supposed to care for him and protect him. Heartbreaking videos of his cute little giggles in the last couple of months of his life. Come join me at the Murder She Shed, the place we honor the dead, right from my she shed. My name is Holly, and so glad you could join me on this beautiful spring morning. It's like 70 degrees today, here anyway, and it's beautiful. Hope you're having beautiful weather too, even though, unfortunately, it is a Monday when I recorded this. Probably won't get it done today, but anyway, thanks for joining me. Make sure you smash that subscribe button in order to hear rarely heard true crime right here with me in my she shed. We would love for you to join us, usually 2 to 3 times weekly. Before we begin, you know I have to give a warning on this case. As you can see, it is a difficult one to get through, so viewer discretion is advised. Finley was born on February 15, 2020, and died in the early hours of Christmas Day, 2020. He lived for 315 sad days. Stephen Boden, 30, and Shannon Marsden, 22. Finley's own parents killed him in a savage and brutal murder on Christmas Day. Stephen and Shannon lived in Chesterfield, Derbyshire, England. Chesterfield is a municipal borough, a market town in a parish 24 miles north of Derby City. It has historically been the second largest town in the county. It's a beautiful market town with many friendly people. A nice place to live and raise a family. So for the community, it would be very shocking to find out what was to occur at the Boden home. Shannon was only 16 when she met and fell in love with Stephen. But not far into the relationship, he started hitting her and dragged her down a street. He would often throw things at her. He even once threw her down a flight of stairs. Stephen had started smoking Mary Jane. I got to be careful with names on here. Probably going to get demonetized anyway, but I always try not to. So we're just going to use things like Mary Jane, okay? Because surely a name can't be demonetized, right? But it might can be. I don't know. Anyway, Stephen had started smoking Mary Jane when he was 9, saying that it actually calmed down his temper. Shannon said when he would run out of pot, he would become angry, irritated, and violent. Because the couple had been on drugs and domestic violence was a part of their relationship, in September 2019, a plan was put in place by social workers after Shannon had learned she was pregnant, such as regular drug testing for the couple and checks on the couple's home, ensuring it was safe and clean enough for child rearing. However, a January 2020 visit revealed holes in the bedroom walls and doors, which Stephen claimed had been caused while furniture was being moved. The social worker also saw punch marks in the doors and a smashed kitchen window. In February 2020, just days after Finley was born, he was placed in care because there seemed to be no improvement in the conditions of the couple's home. Finley went to live with relatives. Just a week after Finley was taken away by social workers, his parents started begging to have him back. Finley's relatives were in the process of actually legally adopting him, and he was thriving in their care. But sadly, on October 1st, 2020, the family court directs that Finley should be returned to the care of his parents under an 8-week plan, including unsupervised visits and overnight stays of varying durations. Even though regular drug testing showed the couple were still heavily using Mary Jane. A report by the family social worker had recommended a 6-month transition, 3 times longer than the 8-week period which was ordered at a court hearing. Just in my opinion, though, 6 months or 8 weeks wouldn't have made any difference in saving that baby's life. The relatives should have been allowed to adopt Finley, and he would be fine today. But only 6 weeks later, on November 17, 2020, Finley was allowed to live permanently with his parents. during a home visit November 19th, only 2 days after being put in his parents' home permanently. It was noted that Finley had a 4-centimeter bump on his forehead. However, it was explained that this had been caused by playing with a toy, of course. The social worker went to the home again on November 27th, but only seen Finley through the living room window, asleep on the couple's sofa as they listened to music upstairs. Weren't even nowhere near this baby, 10 months old, couldn't walk, was laying on a sofa. I mean, I can see if you're sitting beside your child, not way upstairs away from him. This would be the last time that she would see Finley alive. November 29th, 2 days after the social worker had seen Finley through the window. Family photographs show bruising to Finley's left cheek, ear, and scalp. December 21st, Shannon texted a relative saying, "Get the police to mine. Tell them I'm scared of Stephen around the baby. He's just hit me again. Tell them he'll kill me. He just tried. Please, I will be dead. Not joking." The social worker visited the couple on December 23rd, 2020 in the hope of seeing Finley before Christmas. During the December 23rd visit, Stephen came to the door, telling the worker the baby had not been very well and was upstairs asleep. He stated Finley possibly had COVID, and in order not to spread it, she shouldn't come in. While outside, the worker saw Shannon 100 yards away on the same road that a car was pulled up on. She saw an exchange that looked like a drug deal. On December 24th, 2020, Shannon made a trip to town with Finley, and it was captured on CCTV in various shops and market stalls. Around 7 that evening, Stephen can be seen pushing Finley in a stroller entering a Tesco. On Christmas, Shannon put out Christmas gifts downstairs and sent a video to her mother of the scene. With its musical background, the video showed presents wrapped up, Christmas tinsel, and ornaments. Shannon told her mother she was excited for Christmas morning, our first family Christmas together. But shortly after 2 a.m. on Christmas Day, Stephen came downstairs with Finley, waking Shannon, who was on the sofa. He had Finley in his arms and yelled to Shannon that Finley had stopped breathing and he didn't know what to do. Shannon called 999 and Finley was put on the kitchen floor. Shannon passed on the phone operator instructions to Stephen, who was with Finley. He was not breathing and felt cold. As the paramedics arrived, they seen Shannon sitting on the bottom of the stairs, banging her head on the floor, crying and ripping her hair out in chunks. Stephen showed hardly any emotion. Finley was certified dead at Chesterfield Rural Hospital, and Shannon was later seen lying across his body saying, "I am so sorry. I have let you down." Finley was found with 130 injuries. The pair are alleged to have inflicted 71 bruises and cuts, 57 bone fractures, and 2 burns in the 3 weeks prior to his death. Authorities then went into their house, and in the kitchen, they found dirty pots, pans, and decaying food around the units and on the floor. The bathroom looked as if it was used as a storeroom rather than actually for cleaning. Now, according to the couple, the baby only got a bath like once a week. And when the paramedics seen him, his fingernails were dirty. You know, I worked at daycare for many years and I realized in between a baby's fingers and under their fingernails should not be dirty. That's proof that a baby is not being taken care of to me. I've seen too many children come from homes like that when I worked at daycare. And I was like, a baby should not have hands that look like that. The mattress, the bedding, pillows, and clothes in Finley's bedroom were all sold and dirty pacifiers were laying on the floor. Moldy milk bottles and plates littered the floor in the cramped bedroom, and there was a strong smell of Mary Jane and animal feces in the home. There was a cat litter tray at the top of the stairs, which didn't appear to have been cleaned out for several days and smelled very unpleasant. There was also a pile of dog feces on the bedroom floor. Forensic tests have been found that several items of clothing and bedding in the home were stained with Finley's blood. A mattress protector for Finley's cot, which had been removed and folded at the top of the stairs, was soiled with his blood, feces, and vomit. Finley's blood and vomit were also detected on a blanket. An image was presented of a Captain Cute t-shirt, which was rolled up in a bedding and left on top of the laundry basket, upon which Finley's blood was found in 2 different areas. A Mickey Mouse onesie was found in a pile of clothes and was stained with a mixture of vomit, milk, and blood. Old and fresh bloodstains were found on 2 pillows in Finley's cot, signs of the abuse Finley had endured in the past. Multiple text messages were found on the couple's phone. Stephen texts to Shannon, "I'm seriously going to punch him if he don't stop crying." He also texts to someone, "I've already slapped him for slapping me." So immature. He also texts, "We've had enough of his temper." Another text read, "Little one's effing crying kept me up all night. I want to bounce him off the walls, LOL. Other texts showing evidence of domestic abuse in the house were sent from Shannon's phone. "Stephen doesn't want Finley in the house. I ain't doing it anymore. I wanted to have a nice family Christmas, but that ain't going to happen here." Analysis of the phone the couple shared uncovered numerous texts to and from drug dealers for drugs in the few days before Christmas. Stephen admitted shaking the baby just a little bit when he found him crying, with fluid coming from his nose and eyes, on the evening of December 23rd. This was the same day the social worker had come to the door and was told because the baby had COVID, she couldn't enter. Shannon had done an internet search for signs of sepsis, which is a blood infection. Internet searches were also made for several news articles relating to parent-involved child deaths. Stephen is said to have told a friend he and Shannon had waited an hour to call paramedics on Christmas Day because he had wanted to have a smoke and hide his drugs. The parents were said to have prioritized getting money to spend on the drugs over their baby's care. That's definitely obvious. After being arrested as the couple sat in the back of the police car, they discussed what to have for Christmas dinner. And Stephen said, "I've not been in the back of a police car for about 3 years now, as I've been a good lad." Well, I certainly hope this good lad gets butt stuffed in prison. He deserves it. I can't say the other word. YouTube rules, but you know what I'm saying. They were also discussing plans to sell Finley's stroller on eBay. My guess would be so they could buy more drugs. They were bailed out the very next morning, despite their bail conditions stating they were barred from making contact. The couple continued having a relationship. They only split up when they were charged with murder and then sought to blame each other for Finley's death. Stephen even tried pinning the 130 injuries on rocking Finley too hard. Stephen also blamed the injuries on their family dog. They remained under investigation for nearly a year while the case was being built based on the expert medical evidence. Complex medical procedures such as CT scanning of Finley's bones and body parts had been carried out before experts could look into the findings. Sadly, postmortem and toxicology showed evidence that Finley was inhaling pot smoke from his parents. Finley had so much drug in his body that the level was over the legal driving limit 5 days after his death. Finley had 130 injuries to his little body, 57 fractures, and 71 bruises. Think about that. They only had Finley for 39 days, but he had 57 fractures. That's like, in some days, he had like 2 fractures a day. It's insane. It's crazy. A poor baby. He had a pelvic injury caused by kicking or stomping with force equal to falling from a 6th-floor window. Finley also had a spiral break to the femur, while a shin bone break was consistent with being held by the ankle and gripped and twisted. I was taught as a nurse, femur fractures to a child, not walking yet, was a pretty good sign that the child was being abused. Especially spiral fractures, because it involves a twisting action. And the femur bones are the strongest bones in the body, and it would take a hard impact to even break the femur. Finley developed pneumonia via his infected rib fracture, sepsis, and the heart condition endocarditis. Finley also suffered 2 burns to his hand, one of which may have been caused by a cigarette lighter. The other burn had been caused by a hot, flat surface. The inside of his little mouth was torn. Can't even imagine the pain Finley must have been in from all those fractures. 39 days of pure torture this little guy had to suffer through before his body finally gave up. Just this month, Stephen and Shannon were found guilty of murder and will be sentenced on May 26th. It was so traumatic for the jurors that they have been excused for ever being on jury duty again. Another beautiful life taken all too soon. Rest in peace, baby Finley. Well, guys, that's it from the Murder She Shed. Hope you have a beautiful week and make sure you're kind to others as you never know what they've been through. All right, guys, I love y'all. We love you. Simon says bye, and he knows I'm saying bye, and he gets to do something now, so it's an exciting time for all. I know. Pretty day, huh, Max? Call him Maxie Pad. I'm sure he appreciates that. And my husband hates when I call him that. I do it to make him mad, I think. I gotta tell this story on my oldest son. Okay, he wanted to be class president in junior year. He came up with this great campaign in which he decided to wear, and I had to help him burn a t-shirt. We had to burn the edges off and everything. And so after we got it kind of burned up, looked like it had been through, basically like he'd been through a burning building. And they had to give this speech. And so he ran out onto the stage and he said, "Excuse me, I'm sorry I'm late, but I just got back from saving a cat from a burning building." It was the most hilarious thing ever. His junior year, he did this in front of everybody. And I'm telling you, he did all this line in his whole speech, and it sounded like a real politician. I was so proud of him. It was amazing. And guess what? He won class president that year and didn't do a darn thing all year. Just typical political career. Sorry to say that, but truth hurts. So my son, who is now an RN, was a proud politician. Proud lying politician, at least for the 1 year of his life. I'm glad he didn't make that his career, though. I'm good with him being a nurse. Much better career. Harder career, in my book. Long hours on your feet. Stress mentally, physically, because I'm a nurse too. Emotionally. Oh, every way. It's stressful, but can be very rewarding. So I am proud of him. Just thought I'd add that story on the end so you wouldn't be ending with a sad ending. Just thought it was kind of a cute story how he did that. He's just like his mama. He's super goofy. So if you're, let my nips out. Okay, sis, then hit that subscribe that button up there. Yeah, that one. Or down there. I guess it's actually down there. I just put an imaginary one up here, but you actually push down there. Got it? Got it. So make sure you smash that subscribe button. You hear rarely turd true crime. No. Sometimes I do talk about turds, but yeah, not all the time. But never mind. Excuse you, dude. That was belchy. Sorry about that. Oh, God. You're shaking stuff all over me. What? How many am I now? I should never try to wear light color clothing. It doesn't work out on my little farm. Ever. My gosh, guys. Bye.
It's been a long road, y'all walked it with me. From the podunk towns to the frosted cities. We've seen the hard times, we all thought of quitting. Never got kissed off, just left the bottle spinning. Kids games, for high stakes and big breaks. Like promises and hearts, all the sharpest mistakes that park in your brain or leave scars in your face. And stay with you to the end of your red carpet race. You